Senseless bloody violence, juicy Japanese boobs, and absurd endless gags. This is one of the strangest yet pretty awesome movies that I have ever watched. Helplessly crying over his girlfriend, back here with another video. Always thank you to everybody who watched the last video on 1984's classic, The Toxic Avenger. I'm pretty happy with how that video turned out, so please give it a go. It's a great video. Moving on to the next film in the film franchise is arguably maybe the better sequel. I don't know though. The Toxic Avenger Part II from 1989. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Give me any suggestions for future videos. I always appreciate it. Or I'll kill the family dog. Following the somewhat success of the first film, Troma began production on the direct sequel, The Toxic Avenger Part II in 1988. Directed by Troma founders Michael Hertz and Lloyd Kaufman again, you would imagine this film would have a similar charm to the first, but that would be where you are wrong. This film has everything the first one did, and a little bit more, but it misses the mark on so many different opportunities that I'm honestly wondering what the fuck were they thinking. On a budget of $2.5 million, which is 5 times more than the first film's budget, grossing a pretty shite $792,000, this film commercially was not a success. That just goes to show that if you take your film to Japan, that doesn't equal more money. And definitely, this film has a rare 0% on Rotten Tomatoes as of today. So this film is set years after the events of the first film. Tromaville, home of the Toxic Avenger, is free from crime and corruption. Actually a nice place to live for once. Without crime to fight, Toxie feels a little useless, so he decides to track down his long-lost father.
To hold him in my arms!
Toxie fights all sorts of new crime and evil across the Pacific. His father turns out to be a man the locals refer to as Big Mac, an underground crime boss and fishmonger. He decides to destroy his father, but meanwhile, back in Tromaville, the Apocalypse Inc. are taking advantage of Toxie's absence and taking over the town again, creating it back into the #1 toxic waste dump in the world. Upon his arrival back to town, Toxie must destroy the Apocalypse Inc. and save Tromaville. Look, I'm gonna be honest, this film is not a good film. It really isn't, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I enjoyed myself.
Banzai! Banzai!
It's campy, it's violent, it's strange. Every single line that comes out of a character's mouth feels like a joke or a gag, and I'll tell you what, none of them fucking land. It's really not that funny. It has more It has more gags and jokes than a Naked Gun movie. Even though the budget is, 5 times more than the first? It looks way cheaper. The effects are lousy, the dialogue is cheap, the cinematography is awful. You know, I do have to say, this franchise keeps its best element though. The overuse of nudity, and bringing it all the way to the Pacific. We get that awesome fucking sushi, fucking meat, that sashimi, that fucking mwah. Okay, we get the fucking Japanese women bathing in a whole room. We get one woman in a fight scene, gets her whole clothes knocked off. She's completely nude, pussy out and everything. The plot is basic, but it's not even that bad. It's just every bit of acting, dialogue, and cinematography looks and sounds like it was written by Down syndrome. If you told me this was a lower budget than the first, I would believe you.
And dancing in the streets.
The fights are less interesting than the first. There is this whole fight scene after the Center for the Blind People is blown up at the beginning. Toxie is ambushed by a variety of bizarre henchmen, including a black midget and Michael J. White, and I'm not talking about the same person. The effects are shy. His girlfriend, now called Claire, not Sarah, is still blind, but she's so slutty. She's this tight little blonde wearing the tiniest little outfits. Now I gotta say, Troma, that is a successful creative decision. I mean, I haven't even spoken about Japan very much. Why in the fuck they thought, yeah, what, our hero needs to go to Japan to look for his long-lost father. Oh yeah, and then kill him. Spoiler alert, Big Mac's not even his real dad. He goes to Japan, finds his dad, helps a woman, kills his fake dad, all for no fucking reason. Toxie gets back to Tromaville, cleans up the town again in like 5 minutes. I thought it was going to be like the third act finale. He comes back and saves the day. It's literally like 5 minutes. It's done in the epilogue. I've just found out that the film was originally supposed to be 4 hours long and was cut into 2 films, so this might have something to do with how strange the structure is. All I know is in the 3rd film, Toxie gets hired by the devil to do some odd jobs, and I cannot wait. I had hope for this film. After the first being so funny, surprisingly clever, and remarkably enjoyable, this was I don't even know. This was lackluster. It was disappointing, but it's not worth the 0% on Rotten Tomatoes it has scored. I just think they needed to focus on the gore a little bit more because their script is not their strong point of this franchise. If they focus on the gore a little bit more, brought that element into it. I mean, the first one is amazing for that. The script is not great. The jokes, yeah, there's a little bit more that lands, but it's the gore, it's the violence, it's the gruesome skin and the transformation. And I suppose this movie, because he's already transformed, you have none of that. He's already been the Toxic Avenger for how many years? 5, 6 years, or whatever. And so you probably take that element away where he's not so grossed out by himself. He's got a woman that loves him. He's no longer the gross Avenger. He's the Toxic Avenger. You know, I don't know. Okay, and now it's part of my favorite time of the video. It is the trivia section. Okay, you ready? Have you got your fucking notepad and everything? Okay, so Michael J. White, martial arts expert, fucking film star, stunt coordinator, all of that fucking jazz, mate. Look him up. He's in fucking everything. He makes his acting debut in this movie, and he does a few spin kicks. So there you go. Melvin's last name was changed from Third, as it was in the original, to Junko for the sequels in order to explain his Japanese heritage for the plot in the movie. Even though actually, if you watch the film, spoiler alert, he's not actually Japanese because his real dad shows up at the end and says, "Oh, did you go to Japan and meet that fishmonger, Big Mac? Yeah, his name's Junko. No, mine's Bunko." Or maybe it's the other way around. Either way, it's fucking retarded. John Altamura was fired during production according to Lloyd Kaufman and Ron Fazio for abusing his authority. Ron Fazio, who plays an executive for Apocalypse Incorporated, was originally only asked to be the Toxic Avenger's distant shot double. However, after Altamura's dismissal, Fazio was asked to play the part and provide the character's voice. The producer kept the scenes with John Altamura, hence both men are credited for the title role. This film has a body count of 66, over double the previous movie, which I honestly can't believe because it feels like he kills more people. I think it may be because the violence in the first film is so much better done, like it really is, that I think you feel the impact each kill a little bit more. This, he's just sort of just making his way through people, you don't really think about it. The lead female henchman, Lisa Gay, went on to act in Class of Nukem High 2, Subhumanoid Meltdown in 1991, which actually our fan favourite Toxie character appears in one scene. Rick Collins, the chairman of Apocalypse Now, was previously in the first Toxic Avenger film as the biker who is holding Sarah's cane as she's getting harassed by the gang. And that's it, folks. Thank you very much. That's the video. Make sure to check out all the other videos on this channel. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, give me any suggestions for any videos you want me to, for any films you want me to fucking look at. I'm not going to edit this, it's the end of the video. If you made it this far, then pew pew pew, you get this. You honestly have no idea how much this means to me. It does mean a lot. I know I'm just doing this for fun. I don't do this for money. I know I don't get a lot of views, but it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Anyway, as always, I love you and peace out.